Monika Seleš is the former Yugoslav world #1 professional tennis player and a member of the International Tennis Hall of Fame. She was born and raised in Novi Sad, Senior Serbia, SFR Yugoslavia. She became a naturalized United States citizen in 1994 and also received Hungarian citizenship in June 2007. She won 9 Grand Slam singles titles, winning 8 of them while a citizen of Yugoslavia and 1 while a citizen of the United States. In 1990, Seles became the youngest ever French Open champion, at the age of 16. She went on to win 8 Grand Slam singles titles before her 20th birthday and was the year-end world #1 in 1991 and 1992. However, on April 30, 1993 she was the victim of an on-court attack, when a man stabbed her in the back with a 9-inch-long knife. Seles did not return to tennis for over 2 years. Though she enjoyed some success after rejoining the tour in 1995, including a 4th Australian Open success in 1996, she was unable to consistently reproduce her best form. She played her last professional match at the 2003 French Open, but did not officially retire until February 2008. In June 2011, she was named one of the 30 legends of women's tennis, past, present and future by Time. Early life: Seles was born in Novi Sad, Yugoslavia, current-day Serbia, into an ethnic Hungarian family. Her parents' names are Esther and Karolj and she has an older brother, Zoltan. She began playing tennis at age 5, coached by her father. Karolj Seles, a professional cartoonist employed for decades at the Dnevnik and Magyarso newspapers, drew pictures for her, to make her tennis more fun. He is responsible for developing her two-handed style for both the forehand and backhand. Later, her coach was Jelena Gina. In 1985, at the age 11, she won the Orange Bowl tournament in Miami, Florida, catching the attention of tennis coach Nick Bollettieri. In 1986 the Seles family moved from Yugoslavia to the United States, and Seles enrolled at the Nick Bollettieri Tennis Academy, where she trained for 2 years. Seles played her first professional tournament in 1988 at age 14. The following year she joined the professional tour full-time, winning her first career title at Houston in May 1989, where she beat the soon-to-retire Chris Evert in the final. A month later, Seles reached the semi-finals of her first Grand Slam singles tournament at the French Open, losing to then world #1 Steffi Graf, 3-6, 6-3, 3-6. Seles finished her first year on the tour ranked world #6. 1990–92, Seles won her first Grand Slam singles title at the 1990 French Open. Facing world #1 Steffi Graf in the final, Seles saved 4 set points in a first-set tiebreaker, which he won 8-6, and went on to take the match in straight sets. In doing so, she became the youngest ever French Open singles titleist at the age of 16 years, 6 months. She also won the 1990 year-end Virginia Slims Championships, defeating Gabriela Sabatini in 5 sets. She finished the year ranked world #2. 1991 was the first of 2 years in which Seles dominated the women's tour. She started out by winning the Australian Open in January, beating Jana Novotná in the final. In March, she replaced Graf as the world #1. She then successfully defended her French Open title, beating the former youngest ever winner, Arantxa Nchez Vicario, in the final. Unable to play at Wimbledon, Seles took a 6-week break, suffering from shin splints. But she was back in time for the US Open, which she won by beating Martina Navratilova in the final, her 3rd Grand Slam title of the year, to cement her position at the top of the world rankings. She also won the year-end Virginia Slims Championships, defeating Navratilova in 4 sets. 1992 was an equally dominant year. Seles successfully defended her titles at the Australian Open, the French Open, and the US Open. She also reached the final at Wimbledon, but lost to Graf, 2-6, 1-6. 2 opponents had strongly complained about Seles's grunting, so she was obliged to not make noise in the final. Breaking her timing and her breathing, she lost. From January 1991 through February 1993, Seles won 22 titles and reached 33 finals out of the 34 tournaments she played. She compiled a 159-12 win-loss record, including a 55-1 win-loss record in Grand Slam tournaments. In the broader context of her first 4 years on the circuit, Seles had a win-loss record of 231-25 and collected 30 titles. 1993 stabbing, Seles was the top women's player heading into 1993, having won the French Open 3 consecutive years and both the US Open and Australian Open in consecutive years. In January 1993, Seles defeated Graf in the final of the Australian Open, which to date was her third win in 4 Grand Slam finals against Graf. On April 30 during a quarter-final match with Magdalena Maleeva in Hamburg in which Seles was leading 6-4, 4-3, Gar 1/4 NTER Parch, an obsessed fan of Steffi Graf, ran from the middle of the crowd to the edge of the court during a break between games and stabbed Seles with a boning knife between her shoulder blades, to a depth of 1.5 cm. She was quickly rushed to a hospital. Although her physical injuries took only a few weeks to heal, she did not return to competitive tennis for more than 2 years. Initially, there was speculation that the attack may have been politically motivated because of Seles' Serbian roots. She was known to have received death threats in relation to the ongoing conflict in her native Yugoslavia. However, German authorities were quick to rule this out, describing her attacker as confused and possibly mentally disturbed. Parch was charged following the incident, but was not jailed because he was found to be psychologically abnormal, and was instead sentenced to 2 years probation and psychological treatment. The incident prompted a significant increase in the level of security at tour events. At the French Open, held less than a month after the attack, the trophy presentation ceremony took place on the court, rather than in the stands amongst spectators, as it had been done previously. At that year's Wimbledon, the players' seats were positioned with their backs to the umpire's chair, rather than the spectators, although some players, including Graf, moved the chair back to its original position. Seles, however, disputed the effectiveness of these measures. She was quoted in 2011 as saying, "From the time I was stabbed, I think the security hasn't changed." Seles vowed never to play tennis in Germany again, disenchanted by the German legal system. "What people seem to be forgetting is that this man stabbed me intentionally and he did not serve any sort of punishment for it. I would not feel comfortable going back. I don't foresee that happening." Gabriella Sabatini was the only player who abstained from voting against Seles having her ranking preserved after the attack. All the other players voted that Seles should lose her ranking. Young Elders, a band from Melbourne, Australia, sent their song called "Fly Monica Fly" to Seles while she was recuperating from the 1993 stabbing incident. She later said that the song provided inspiration to her at the time, and subsequently met the band following her victory at the Australian Open in 1996. The stabbing incident is also the subject of Dan Byrne's 1998 tribute to Seles, Mónika. Additionally, Detroit dream pop band Majesty Crush paid tribute with Seles from the 1993 album Love 15. Comeback, Seles returned to the tour in August 1995 and won her first comeback tournament, the Canadian Open, beating Amanda Kueza in the final, 6-0, 6-1. The following month at the US Open, Seles lost the final to Graf, 6-7, 6-0, 3-6, after failing to capitalize on a set point in the first set. Seles initially thought her first serve on set point was a clean ace down the center and excitedly jogged to the chair for a brief moment, but the line judge to her surprise had called it out, and the chair umpire deemed it too close to overrule. Her lack of fitness after the long layoff began to show in the third set, after overpowering a tentative Graf, and holding her to only one winner in the second set. In January 1996, Seles won her fourth Australian Open, beating Ank Huber in the final. Her pivotal match was the semi-final versus rising American star Chanda Rubin, who led her 5-3 in the final set, and had 2 break points to lead 5-1. Seles came back from 2 points from defeat to triumph and reached the final. This was to be Seles' last Grand Slam title, as she struggled to recapture her best form on a consistent basis. Her difficulties were compounded by having to cope with her father and long-term coach Karolyi being stricken by cancer and eventually dying in 1998. Seles was the runner-up at the US Open to Graf again in 1996. Her last Grand Slam final came at the French Open in 1998, a few weeks after her father's death. She defeated world number 3 Jana Novotná in 3 sets and world number 1 Martina Hingis in straight sets, before losing to Arantxa Nchez Vicario in the 3-set final. While she did not reach another Grand Slam singles final, she did consistently reach the quarter-final and semi-final stages in those tournaments and was a fixture in the WTA Tour's top 10. A highlight of her late career was her first Olympic medal, a bronze in singles, at the 2000 Summer Olympics. She defeated Jelena Dokic in the bronze medal match, after pushing eventual gold medalist Venus Williams to a tough 3-setter in the semis, losing 6-3 in the final set. In 2002, her last full year on the tour, she finished the year ranked world number 7, defeated Venus Williams, Martina Hingis, Jennifer Capriati, Justine Henin, Maria Sharapova, Kim Clijsters, and Lindsay Davenport, and reached at least the quarter-finals at each Grand Slam tournament. After becoming a U.S. citizen in 1994, Seles helped the U.S. team win the Fed Cup in 1996, 1999, and 2000. She also won a bronze medal at the 2000 Olympic Games in Sydney. Hiatus. In the spring of 2003, Seles sustained a foot injury. She was forced to withdraw during the second set of a match against Nadia Petrova at the Italian Open. Then, a couple of weeks later and still injured, she lost in straight sets to the same player in the first round of the 2003 French Open. It was the only time she ever lost a first-round match at a Grand Slam. She never again played an official draw match. In February 2005, Seles played 2 exhibition matches in New Zealand against Navratilova. Despite losing both matches, she played competitively and announced that she could return to the game early in 2006. However, she did not do so. She played 3 exhibition matches against Navratilova in 2007. On April 5, she defeated Navratilova in Houston, Texas, on clay, 7-6, 2-6, 10-1. On September 14, Seles defeated Navratilova on an indoor court in New Orleans, Louisiana, 6-2, 6-4. On September 16, she defeated Navratilova on clay in Bucharest, Romania, 3-6, 6-3, 10-7. In December 2007, Seles said to the press that Lindsay Davenport's successful return to the tour had inspired her to consider her own limited comeback to play Grand Slam tournaments and the major warm-up events for those tournaments. However, on February 14, 2008, Seles announced her official retirement from professional tennis. In January 2009, Seles was elected to the International Tennis Hall of Fame. Career assessment: Seles was listed as the 13th greatest player of all time by Tennis magazine and was also one of 15 women named by Australian Tennis magazine as the greatest champions of the last 30 years. In 2012, Tennis Channel created a list of the 100 greatest of all time tennis players. Seles was listed at number 19. Seles's career was affected by the stabbing incident. Her trajectory was indicative of continuing future greatness. During the height of her career, she won 8 of the 11 Grand Slam singles tournaments she contested. Until her loss to Martina Hingis at the 1999 Australian Open, Seles had a perfect record at the event, which is the longest undefeated streak for this tournament. It also marked her first defeat in Australia, having won the Sydney tournament in 1996. Seles was the first female tennis player to win her first 6 Grand Slam singles finals: 1990 French Open, 1991 Australian Open, 1991 French Open, US Open, 1992 Australian Open, and 1992 French Open. Seles was also the first female player since Hilde Krajewinkel-Sperling in 1937 to win the women's singles title 3 consecutive years at the French Open. With 8 Grand Slam singles titles before her 20th birthday, Seles holds the record for most Grand Slam singles titles won as a teenager. Shortly after her retirement, Sports Illustrated writer John Wertheim summed up her later career. Yet, transformed from champion to tragedienne, Seles became far more popular than she was while winning all those titles. It became impossible to root against her. At first, out of sympathy. Then, because she revealed herself to be so thoroughly thoughtful, graceful, dignified. When she quietly announced her retirement last week at age 34, she exited as perhaps the most adored figure in the sport's history. As happy endings go, one could do worse. Seles was a popular player, winning the inaugural Szeles Hero of the Year award in 2002. This award was voted by fans around the world. She was elected to the International Tennis Hall of Fame in 2009. Autobiography. On April 21, 2009, Seles released her memoir Getting a Grip, On My Body, My Mind, Myself, which chronicles her bout with depression and food addiction after her stabbing, her father's cancer diagnosis and eventual death, her journey back to the game and a life beyond tennis. Personal life. Since 2009, Seles has been dating billionaire Tom Golisano. The two announced their engagement on June 5, 2014. Entertainment. In 1996, Seles made a guest appearance in the TV sitcom The Nanny. She also appeared in 2008 in the TV series Dancing with the Stars as one of the contestants. Career statistics. Records. These records were attained in open era of tennis. Records in bold indicate peerless achievements. See also: List of female tennis players, List of Grand Slam women's singles champions, references. External links: Monika Seles at the Women's Tennis Association, Monika Seles at the International Tennis Federation, Monika Seles at the Fed Cup, BBC Sport Profile, Monika Seles at the International Tennis Hall of Fame, Monika Seles at the Internet Movie Database.